Hey there. Oh, sorry. Let me give you a second. Perfect. Hey, Leslie, can you hear me?
Hi, Austin. I can.
Awesome. Hang on, I'm just setting some things up.
No problem. I'll play with my lighting.
Oh, we were having some Zoom issues that was
Oh,
making me a little worried there for a second.
Yeah. It just gives you the little jolt to get you going, make you appreciate what you have.
Seriously.
The lighting's a lot different when I don't have sunshine coming in. Uh-oh.
Do you have like a west or east facing window?
I have a south facing window.
Mm,
So I have sun all day. Yeah, until late when it goes
got it.
down, but it goes behind the house.
All right, so we have a few folks in the waiting room.
Did anybody else register?
I didn't get any new folks today, but I imagine typically I see a spike, probably 2 or 3 folks register when the ad pops up on either Facebook or on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So I think the way that it's set up is that it'll pop up again tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And then when we send out another email blast.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you notice that Vanessa Fajoli was on there twice?
I did once you sent that email back. And I think she probably did register, and then I don't know if she either forgot and or
Maybe she has a second person. We'll see.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I cut up their names for the drawing.
Oh, nice. Okay. Like in a bowl.
So yeah, it's a little base. So I have a second one for her. So if it's not her, or she brought her clone, maybe she brought her clone.
We'll see. All right. Do you want me to start letting the folks that are in the waiting room in? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. They can get situated. Okay. How do I stop that? Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I love everybody's glasses.
I got these at the dollar store.
Nice. I love it.
They're just readers, but they're perfect. I lose glasses famously, so too often. So the dollar is the perfect price.
Nice.
Every other pair breaks, but you know, it's okay. Got $1 worth out of them. Oh, there's my dog. So my dog waited all day to start barking. Is that Terry Henry?
Yes, it is. I look-
Hello. You've
no
been on
video
my
today.
email list for a while.
Yeah, I have your book.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I bought it back in February.
Very good. And you do restaurant marketing, right?
I do.
Very good. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I mean, you can always learn something new, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Always adds. Knowledge is good.
So everyone, just wanted to let you know, we're waiting for a few more people to join us. And we'll go ahead and get started in a second, but just want to give it a couple more minutes for those folks to join in.
So hopefully this isn't the dreaded, it's free, I'll sign up. Not come. But even if it is, we're glad you're here. They can catch up on video later. So yesterday was supposed to be that big torrential rain. I think was it that bad? I don't think it ever got that
No.
bad. What they call it, a typhoon bomb? It's like batten down the hatches. And I'm like, this looks like it's just a,
It's like a little drizzle.
yeah. I don't know where it hit so badly.
I think it was a NorCal and right Northwest issue. I've seen videos of like a few trucks, like long haul trucks on the Bay Bridge getting knocked over because of the wind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But yeah, yesterday, I mean, we got some drizzle and I think we had like a moment of some heavy rain, but it didn't seem like it was going to be as bad as I, thought it was.
Yeah, no, not too bad at all. And now we're going to go into some extreme heat. So all the dandelions will come up. Yay. This is our fall. Fire, mudslide, sun, weeds.
All right, Leslie. I don't see those other folks, so I don't know if we want to get started. It's 6:04. I want to be
Sure.
mindful of time.
Yeah, let's honor those who are here. And we'll have a nice, intimate, small class today. I'd love it if you guys would put your cameras on, but I totally understand if you're doing other stuff. But I like to see you guys. You got the handouts. So hopefully you printed those out. So you can take along, keep notes as we're going and fill things in. Whatever you don't get done in the class, then that will be your homework essentially. And we'll have a different handout each week as we go through this process. So while maybe some other people are coming in, thank you, Kathleen, welcome. So in the chat is a warm up. So I'd like you to go ahead and introduce yourself with your name, the name of your business and what you do. And if you wouldn't mind, and I'll do it too, rename yourself in your Zoom. And you know how to do that. If you go to your picture and the three dots in the upper right corner, when you put the cursor on it, show up and just click on that and then put your business name in there. So everybody has a chance to remember who you are. So introduce yourself with your name, your company name, what you do, and then how long you've been in business. And if you don't mind, I'll take some notes. So I will go first while you're thinking. So I'm Leslie Smith with McCormick LA, and I've been doing this since 1994, been an independent PR consultant. I was in PR before that. I worked for association management. I worked for one local association was Long Beach Board of Realtors. Then I worked for a statewide association in Sacramento of consulting engineers. And my first job out of college was at an advertising agency. So I've been doing this for quite some time. And as an independent public relations relations consultant, I've worked with about 30 different industries, and I found that the principles are the same across the board. So, and my favorites are small businesses and local nonprofits. Cielo, why don't you start?
Hi, I'm Cielo. I own Cielo Roth Photography. Been in business for about 10 years. I'm the owner and the principal photographer. So I do everything. It's just me.
Great.
Yep.
Very good. Kathleen?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathleen. Sorry, I was in the middle of typing in the chat, so it's incomplete.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathleen Engel. I am the owner of Make Collectives in downtown Long Beach. We are a one-stop shop lifestyle store in, oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello. This is my shop kid, Grayson.
I like it.
And so I don't even know what I was saying. It's a curated lifestyle shop, a one-stop shop on First Street in downtown. Next spring will be open 10 lovely years.
Good job, both you and Cielo. That's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay,
Thank
so we appreciate that. So there's a couple people putting stuff in the chat. Do you want to present it yourselves, or do you want me to read it for you? Terry or Rhiannon?
I'm Terry Henry. With Terry Henry Marketing, I do restaurant marketing and PR. Been in business just 10 years this month. I also want to give a shout out to one of the events I organize, which is Construction Long Beach.
Oh, very good.
Happening November 4th through 14th. It's when architect and engineering firms build 10 by 10 by 10 foot structures out of canned goods under a theme. And then after the event, they are donated to food finders. And I see there's someone from Environ on here. So you guys participated one time, or a couple of years, actually, a couple of years in a row, but we haven't seen you for a couple of years. So next year.
Very good. I love that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Did it start were you at Food Finders at the time when it started?
They were a client.
Okay, they're always a client.
Yeah,
okay.
and I was looking, I had never repped a nonprofit before. So just doing research, I found this construction thing, and it's an unbelievable amount of work, but
sure.
It's a cool event and such a great cause, and it's one of my favorite events every year. So next week, November 4th through the 14th, and Trademark Brewery is our host this year.
Oh, great. I'm glad you get to do it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Rhiannon is finishing something up, so I'll read her. She's Dr. Rhiannon. She's an acupuncturist, chiropractor at Love Manifest Heal, and she's been doing this just since June of 2021, 5 years as an alternative doctor. Okay, great. Okay, and then Connor, do you want to introduce yourself? Can you hear us, Connor? You're muted, so I don't know if you can. You can hear us.
It looks like he's having issues.
Let's
see if I can try to unmute you, Connor. Yeah, maybe on your side. So you may be stuck typing in the chat, unfortunately. But I'll try to see what I can do on the back end.
And Austin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself while Connor has to type?
Not a problem. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Austin McToyer. I'm with the Downtown Long Beach Alliance. A lot of familiar faces and names on the call. So really good to have you all with us. At the DLBA, I serve as the Economic Development and Policy Manager. I assist many of our downtown businesses or small downtown businesses with various programs like the one that you're joining tonight. We also provide grant programs as well as low interest or zero interest loans, access to capital through various programs. And as an organization as a whole, we provide other services, including marketing support for downtown businesses, clean and safe services, and special events and public space activation. So really excited that you're all here. Really excited to partner with Leslie on this workshop, this 4-part series. And we will be rolling out other programs over the course of the rest of the year as well. So encourage you to check out any of the upcoming programs that you may be interested in. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Connor. We can see you. We can't hear you. It still says you're muted. We can go back to you. So I'm just going to give you just sort of the nuts and bolts of the training while we go through this. So it's a 90-minute training. It's going to go fast. So we did schedule the second part each week. That's totally optional to you, but it's office hours from 6 to 7 on Thursdays. And I would hope that you can coordinate to be here on Tuesdays and then be there on Thursdays as well. So you can ask any other questions about the homework. And if things come up, I'll keep a running list of things that come up that aren't on the agenda for the night. And if they're not going to be covered in the subsequent modules, we can discuss those things on Thursday nights. There's a lot, and you guys you're seasoned veterans. You've been in this for a while, a couple of decade celebrations here. And I would encourage you to do something for your 10 years because you can't celebrate an anniversary every year. People don't care about the 7th year, that 5 and the zeros. Anything that ends with a 5 and a 0 gets you a good press release in there. So I'd encourage you to do something like that. So if you guys want to talk about anniversary celebrations one Thursday night, we can totally do that. And I can help you with that. I'd encourage you to do both. I love seeing you. So if you can arrange to be on camera, that I really appreciate that. Microphones off and less speaking. Because it's 90 minutes, if you need to self-break, that's fine. Please come back. We're not going to have a scheduled break is all I'm saying. And then if you stay until the end, we have a little incentive to make it to 7:30. You'll get a third. I'll draw one name. All your names are in this little jar and you get, you have to be here. So there's a bunch of people who registered who aren't here. So maybe should have figured out who was here before I put them all in the jar. But if you're here, you get a 30-minute one-on-one with me. And it's not a schmoozy spiel. It will be, tell me something that you're having trouble with and I'll help you solve it. Okay, so it's worth your while to hang out for that. And if you would like to be on my regular email list, you can just put email in the chat and I can add you to that. I only send something out a couple times a month, if that. Terry's already on my email list and a couple of people who did register I saw had added on themselves. You can always go to my website at mccormickla.com and add yourself on. There's one of those annoying pop-ups that comes right up and asks you to sign up. Okay. So you have, let's get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and share our, actually, Austin, how are you going to handle getting them the books? Do you want to cover that real quick?
Yeah, so thank you. So everyone as a part of this class will receive a copy of Leslie Smith's book, and we'll be sending that out. I wanted to make sure that we had the folks who had registered attend today's session, so I knew who to send it out to. I will send an email. I have everybody's address, but I'll send a follow-up email to ask whether or not you want to come and pick it up at our office in downtown Long Beach, or if you'd prefer to have it mailed to you, and I'll get it sent out tomorrow if that's the case.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so here is the handout that you got that we'll work through. And I would encourage you to take notes as you go. There's something about processing going from your brain through your hand. So, print it out. That was on purpose. You print it out, you process things better, you flesh things out. So studies prove that. So I would encourage you to do that. Let me open the chat too, so I see this. Okay. Everything here. Okay, so here's the agenda for tonight. Is just some nuts and bolts, and we're going to go through the building blocks of marketing, the 4 Ps, differentiation. How are you different? How can you position yourselves as different or unique? Go through your target audiences, and then we'll wrap up with Q&A, a drawing, and then we'll adjourn. So this lovely little book here, it's The Laws of Promotion. I wrote it last year. That was part of my pivot. This was a workshop that I'd done in the 90s for the Chamber of Commerce. And I simply took Newton's laws of motion and turned them into the laws of promotion. And I did it because people just needed to understand that this was very basic. People overthink it, they get very confused. And I wanted it to be a book that people would buy, not just an ebook where they wouldn't put as much value in it. There's a lot of marketing books out there. Most of them are 200 or more pages. I don't want to read those, do you? And they're going to have all kinds of terms and data and stuff that I just want to know, how do I make the rubber hit the road? How do I get this going? So it is a 50-page book. And if you don't like reading, there's cartoons. Okay, it is very simple, very straightforward. And then there's some forms in there that you'll get sort of in the handouts, but you can download them from here too. So if you want to, we go through the 4 Ps on this, and you don't want to download this whole PDF that you got for this class, you can go, actually, I'll put that in I have that link to my blog that you can print it out again if you want. So I will put that in the chat. So you can have access to these things. Okay. So it's a very simple, easy peasy book. I don't want to intimidate anybody. Everybody can do this. It should be very accessible. These things, if you've been doing things for a while and maybe things aren't quite working, I'd encourage you to go back to the very basics, your very basic building blocks, which starts with the 4 Ps. You've probably heard this before many times. I mean, it's such an old way of teaching this. They even talk about it in Mad Men, which was set in the 60s. Okay, so you have your product, your price, your place, and your promotion. So regardless if you make a widget or if you offer a service, that's your product. So whatever it is that you charge money for, whatever it is that you describe that you do, that is your product. Now the price, you have to come up with a pricing strategy. So it's not just, I charge $100. Well, how is that relative to what you do? So are you a bargain basement sort of person, or are you an elite pricing strategy? I worked with a home inspector one time, and he wanted to be known as the most expensive home inspector. Okay, this is a guy that when you buy your house, they go through and say, oh, your plumbing's bad, your foundation's bad, whatever. He's like, I don't want to work that hard. So I want to charge more than anybody else, so I don't have to do as many inspections. And he'd been doing it for 30 years. So he was good at what he was doing. He probably could warrant that price. That was his pricing strategy. And you can see this in everything. Like, so restaurants, for instance. So your cheapy taco stand, your middle of the price range family Mexican restaurant, and your hoity-toity Mexican restaurant. Like, that exists, right? Same with furniture. So look at Bob's Discount Furniture is the bottom. And then you have Ashley Furniture, which I believe those two are owned by the same company. That's sort of your middle of the road. You can buy anything there. And then you have your Ethan Allen or, some other premium furniture stores that sell only one kind of thing, or your Eames chair, something very elite. So you need to decide what your pricing strategy is, because that will affect how you're branding and some of these other things, right? So if you have your product, you have your price, and then you go into your place, well, you're figuring out where you're going to be. Okay, so if you're very elite, are you going to be, well, where are you going to be? Are you going to be in Beverly Hills? Are you going to be in upstairs shared workspace off the beaten path? So you have to decide where that's going to be. So think about like do you guys, are you familiar with the Beacon House? It's a men's alcohol recovery place. It's in San Pedro. So I think of Long Beach as being gritty, and San Pedro's twice as gritty as we are. Okay. Compare that to, maybe you've seen the ads for Malibu, Promises in Malibu, which is like a resort. It's where celebrities go for their rehab. Okay. So you wouldn't put the Promises that's now in Malibu in San Pedro, probably. We'll bash them over. Right? So the place has to match. Another good example is, and this is a true story. So some of you may know the Guidance Center. It's downtown, big green building. They have, it's a nonprofit that helps teens with mental illness, mental health, and helps their families. They used to be up here in Bixby Knolls. Well, the population that they were serving couldn't get to them. So they would have to give them, a bus permit or something like that to get up here. Then the kids would lose the bus permits. So it was constantly a struggle. They'd miss the bus. They'd be late to the appointment. Finally, the executive director said, this is stupid. We serve all of these kids in 90806. Guess what? We're going there. We're going where they are so they can just walk in. It doesn't make any sense for them to have to take a bus 5 miles up Atlantic. Okay. So you also have to decide, are you a brick and mortar place? Do you need a storefront, or do you just need an online presence? So all of those things come into place, and they need to match your pricing strategy. And they need to match your product too. Like, there's bad places to put certain things. Like, you need to be mindful of what you're eyeing, like when you're considering where to put things. Like, you've seen the corner that has the restaurant that just never sticks. Like, it's been 6 things. You're like, when is this going to stop? Or, and then something finally makes it. There's a place, it's on Wardlow and Long Beach Boulevard. It's this weird pad that's on the corner that's away from the strip center. And when I first worked in Long Beach, I drove by that corner twice a day. And this was in 1990, 1992, 3, anyway, a long time ago. And it was called Muscle 2000 or something. And it was a muscle stimulation that gave you muscles without you doing anything. They just put pads on you or put them on your abs, and it stimulated them. And so it was like exercising. And so you got these ripped abs. Okay. That was like the longest thing that stayed there, which was maybe 6 months. And it just cycled and cycled and cycled. And then I moved here in 1998, and that same location was still cycling. And finally a Starbucks went in. We went, okay, but Starbucks can't make it, then we know it's just cursed. Starbucks failed. And then what has finally stuck is an insurance office. So it doesn't need visitors very often, right? It's just sort of a home base for the offices. So just be mindful and pay attention. Like, if you're looking at real estate, if you are in that realm of your business. Okay, so once you figured these things out, then you move into promotion. You don't want to start promoting things unless you know these other 3 things, because what's going to happen? So if you start promoting yourself without knowing what your pricing strategy is, your branding, your promotional look may not match what you've now decided is going to be an upper end, high end echelon stuff, right? So you need to make sure that your promotion is going to reflect these things. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Okay. So now when you think of promotion, think of them in these two main areas, advertising and public relations. Okay. Did you have, I'm sorry, did I give you guys time enough to jot some things down as far as what your product price place, and we'll get to promotion first. Do you want to take a few minutes to do that, or are you all able to do that? Thank you, Cielo. Okay. So advertising and PR. So advertising, the easiest definition is paid persuasion. And what I mean by that is that you get to dictate everything. Do some of you or all of you place ads here and there sometimes? Can you give me a signal, a thumbs up or something? Okay, so you get to choose where that ad's going to go, where in the publication or on the bus or wherever, whatever vehicle you're using, where exactly it's going to go, inside front cover, bottom right-hand corner, wherever it's going to go. You get to choose that. You choose what the headline is, you choose what your sub-headline is, you choose what your copy is, you choose your image, you choose the size, and you negotiate that, and then you pay for it. And if it doesn't come out when you were promised, you can get your money back, right? It's very transactional. Okay, so it's just up to you to be savvy enough to choose the right advertising vehicle at the right time, right? Public relations, not so definitive. It's a friendship. So think about, and that's the easiest definition, just think of public relations. I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? It's a relationship with your public. So think of it being a good friend. So you have friends sometimes that are flaky, don't ask them to take you to the airport. They're unreliable, right? So the same thing has to happen with your company. People need to know that you are reliable. You do what you say, you have integrity, and you demonstrate that not just in, how pretty your logo is or how nice your press release is written, but in your behaviors. What are those nice little things you do for your clients during the holidays? How do you recognize your clients? How do you thank them? Do you open early for them? Do you stay late for them? Do you, work on weekends if they need you to? How do you define, how do you relate with your organization? Oh, Kathleen doesn't have the handout, Austin, I think.
Hey, Kat, I'll send a quick email. It should have been in the calendar invite as well as the email that went out last night, but I'll send it again.
Thank you. Okay, so all of those things, it's not just writing a press release, it's your behavior. It's how you're relating it. Think of the helpful Honda people. Okay, they sell cars. And then they buy somebody's wheelchair, or they send some kid to camp, or they replace their presents. Okay, I want to buy a Honda, right? And they back that up because they do have good vehicles that last forever. But that's a public relations element. It really has nothing to do with what they sell. But I have a really good feeling about them. So do I think they're going to help me if my car breaks down? Do I think they're going to have empathy for me if they don't deliver on their product? Yes, because they've demonstrated how much empathy and compassion and kindness they have out in the community. So when we all go to help Terry with her construction, and we wear logos of our shirts, so people recognize us out in the community of helping, right? That's important. You don't want to pass up opportunities that when you're out in the public that you talk to people, tell them what you do. Don't be shy. Okay, so take a couple minutes and write down your top 3 current tactics in these areas. So if you have 3 different ads, or if you have 3 different public relation tactics. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't get it, Leslie, advertising and public relations, but what about social media? Okay, social media is a tool. You can use, just like a hammer or a screwdriver is a tool. You can use social media for advertising. You can use social media for public relations. Right? So that's just a tool. It's impartial. It doesn't care. Much like a hammer does not care if you're building a house or building a birdhouse. It doesn't care. The same is true with Facebook. It doesn't care how you use it. Welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So did you all do that? I know some of you might not be doing one or the other, and you may be doing things that you don't consider public relations. You know, if somebody leaves your store and you put a little, sample in their bag, that's a public relations element. Right. So you maybe you send out, Christmas emails or Christmas cards, whatever or Thanksgiving acknowledgements, something of that matter. That might be something that you do on a regular basis that you haven't thought about it as a PR element, but it is. And all of those things, all those nice little touches reinforce that you are the right person to deliver the services that they need. Okay, does anyone want to share what 1 or 2 of theirs are? No? Okay. Well, I'd encourage you to circle which one's working best in each category. How many of you have ever put one of those ads in the Long Beach Business Journal? Have you ever put an ad in Long Beach Business Journal? Ever? Okay, so they used to, and I've encouraged them to bring it back. I don't know if they will, but they would do women in business, and they would sell little business card size ads. You got 100 words of copy, a color photo, your logo, for like $99. And they do it a couple times a year, and it'd be a special section in the paper, and it would say, women in business. And I got one really good client and another just small project, which was well worth my time. The one client that I got was Rockview Family Farms Dairy. And he goes, well, you caught my eye when I was looking at the CEO, you caught my eye when I was looking through the business journal. And then I went to your website and I think you match us. And so I came in and did a marketing plan for him and did community relations for them for 3 or 4 years until COVID. Then I was going into schools and doing contests and, going to community events, even dressed up in their cow costume, which smelled gross, but it was fun, but I couldn't do any of that when COVID came. So may or may not come back. We'll see. None of the schools allow visitors still. So tough sledding there, but that was a great client from a $99 ad. The other thing that's very striking about that ad is that the way they set it up, people thought I won an award. And they went, oh, this Leslie girl that we've known for so long who works from her house for many years. Wow, she won an award. The Business Journal said, ooh, you won an award. Like, okay, it's an ad. They didn't even know. They don't know how it works, right? I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Take it. Look for those opportunities as long as you know your target audience reads up those publications. Okay. I did know that people I want to work with read those publications. And then I got a really good client, and then I got somebody else to just have me do a little thing. But that's important. And speaking of which, so how many of you send out press releases about anything at all? No. Okay. So Cielo, you have a 10-year anniversary. So you're going to send out a press release for that. Terry sends them out. Yes, of course you do. Okay. So people, this has gone by the wayside, and I would encourage you to put it back into your arsenal of ways to promote yourself, because so few people do it, you get noticed. Okay. And it doesn't take that much time or effort. It's just about sending it out to, you just have to find the editor or the reporter that you think aligns with you and send them the press release. It's an easy peasy thing to do. I can give you a resource of a sample press release. So you guys can basically, like a Mad Lib, just change the words around and you can do it. And then this is my personal experience. So first of all, it gives you third-party vetting when you send out a press release. It's the main form of public relations, right? It's the main tactic. When a reporter has written about you, they've now said, yes, they're legit. They've told the public, this person is a legitimate business and worthy of our attention. So we've done the homework for you. We've endorsed them. That shortens the path to your door immensely. When I published this little book, my little 50-page book, last year, I sent out a press release and it got picked up by the Grunion Gazette. It's a weekly. A lot of people put their noses up at weeklies, but they are worth their weight in gold, I tell you. And then in the Event News Enterprise, which is in Los Alamitos. Okay, each of those publications, pick this up, just a little snippet. Both of those warranted me a client for a project. One was just a press release and didn't get quite the results that we wanted. The other person who contacted me said, I want to be on TV. I said, okay, well, let's see what we can do. So we took what she was doing, we anchored it to a fake holiday. Fake holidays are a great way to anchor your press release. And it was during it's Code Ninjas, if you're familiar with that organization. So they teach coding to children after school. And so we anchored it to Engineers Week. And on Thursday of Engineers Week, which is in February, there's Girl Day. I said, let's focus on girls. So, that's a, river of thought right now, right? You want to empower girls to do these things that have been traditionally male jobs. And there's huge market for coding jobs when they come up. That is where we need it. And they don't teach this in schools. So we pitched the press release. It went into the Event News Enterprise, which is in Los Alamitos, which is where she is. It went in the Orange County Register, and we got Channel 9 News came out on Girl Day, and she was on the news that night. Okay. So that she could have not afforded the placement of those column inches and that placement of the advertisement on the news, like she could afford me to write the press release, right? So it was way less than $1,000. So she made out. So that press release can really turn into something for you. Okay. And so what she did, so her call to action was sign up your girl for, your daughter for 3 months and get the 4th month free. And they had to sign up between Girl Day and International Women's Day. So it was like February 25th to March 6th, something like that. And so there are a couple of people, and people called up, people booked, it worked. So you need to make sure that you have that call to action, right? People know what to do with those things. Okay. And you need a call to action in advertising as well as in PR. Okay. Okay, so that press release that I sent out shortened the route. I don't know that she would have found me, right? First of all. And then all she did was call me. I want to be on TV. She didn't call anybody else. She didn't do anything else. She didn't go, I want to talk to some references. She might have looked at my LinkedIn, but it worked. So it's very short. A lot of times I meet somebody and I have to do a meet and greet with them, and then I have to give them a proposal, and then we wait 6 months, right? So client, shorten that path to your door. That's what you always want to do. Okay, so do you ask people how they heard about you? It's very important. You will not know if you don't ask. And it's very easy to put even something on your website. We're always curious how you learned about us. So, drop us a line and let us know, something like that. And if they call you or they email you, that should be your first question. Hey, how'd you hear about us? So I'm going to ask you, how did you guys hear about the class tonight? You can put it in the chat. Yep. Stephanie does. Stephanie asks. That's good. And Stephanie, is there a particular thing that works really well that people are always saying, I heard you from this, or I heard you from that? Facebook. And are all of you members of DLBA? No. I'm very pro business association. You always have more power there, and you'll see that when you read the book. The book will not take you more than an hour to read or look at the pictures. Okay, did you have any ahas so far, either from going through your 4 Ps or your promotion areas? Okay, so Stephanie says, we are in a Avita salon, so I get quite a few clients from Avita. Also, I am awesome. That's awesome. That's good. You need to be self-confident, have a business, and keep going. Okay, is anything surprising to you guys when you're thinking about these things? Okay. We're going to talk about the differentiator. So you've heard this many times in different ways, probably. Unique sales proposition, unique sales position, unique position. So put in the chat for me real quickly what your favorite pizza place is and why. I can't choose. Fourth Horseman. My daughter tried to go there, not realizing it was more of a bar. She and her friends. You go Porky's because great tasting pizza. Good. Porky's. So I live in Bixby Knolls, and there's Dutch's Brew House is right near our house, and they have wonderful, good, spicy, wonderful. I get the spicoli that has Doritos and banana peppers, etc. And it's yummy, and they have great beer. We also sometimes go to Powwow because there's this one pizza that has pepperoni with honey, which is so different and so delicious. And sometimes we order Porky's because then we get the family thing with the knots, and you get wings and you get salad and you get soda, and they have great salads. Oh, Buono's. Yay. They used to be my client. Milano, they are in the hood. Buono's. I love Milano. Yum. Okay. So think about that. So nobody repeated pizza places. Oh, 2 pizzas. Okay, 2 Buonos. Yeah, Porky's and Buonos. But there's something for everyone, right? They all serve pizza, but we have different reasons for liking different things. whether you wanted a cauliflower crust or you only wanted a white pizza, you wanted a thin crust, you wanted a thick crust, you wanted other things to go with it. Is the salad any good at that place? The same thing is true of every business. There's going to be that one thing that people like you for. And you might already know what it is. And it probably relates to one of your 4 Ps. Is your product different? Is your price different? I mean, when we're being, just want a quick meal, we're ordering Domino's. We're not doing fancy. We're not doing, the $20 pizza. We're doing the, $10 or less pizza, right? So there's different times when you need different things. Is it your place is different? You're right next door, you're right within walking distance. All of the places I named are within walking distance, but the only place we walk to is Dutch's. The rest of them we have delivered. Okay. And that's 4 pizza places in Bixby Knolls. And there's probably other restaurants that also have some sort of flatbread or pizza on it, on their menu. So do you differentiate yourself based on product, price, place, or promotion? It could strictly be on how you promote yourself. Look at insurance companies. We're all selling pretty much the same thing. And if you compare like State Farm to Allstate to something else, they're probably priced the same. Then you get the cheaper ones, Progressive, maybe Geico insurance might be a little less. But look at all the different ways they promote themselves. You have a gecko selling insurance. You have a crazy pushy lady pushing the bundles. And then Allstate has 2 different campaigns. They have the great guy with the very deep voice who does the very serious ads, good hands from Allstate, but they also have Mayhem. They have that whole series of just the character that's like, yeah, Mayhem strikes again. He's crashing your car, he's, flooding your house, all of those kinds of things. So the promotion alone might differentiate you. So how do you communicate what's unique or different about your business to your customers? How do they know that? Is it demonstrated or do you just tell them? Because people want to feel different with your organization than they felt with somebody else. How would they notice that? Maybe it's a Keurig in the waiting room. How do you make them feel special? How do you let them know that you're different? Okay, since I can only see Cielo, I'm basing everybody's timing on her. So she's writing, so I'm assuming you're all writing. Okay, the other handout that you guys got was this branding strategy. Let me turn this down. Okay. There I am, holding my book. Okay, so these are 4 brand strategies. There's probably more. You can also do a combination of things. First of all would be what I call a gimmick. So if you want to package yourself as like a system, right? I don't know how well you can read this. Well, and you might not have to. So you have this in your handouts, so you can reference this later. Coming up with a system, right? A diet system, an exercise system, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, they're all systems, right? So if you can package and brand your product as a system, you might be able to get more mileage out of it. Right? This is our system. This is our legacy product. Like Cielo, if you had portraits for kindergarten through 12th grade, lock them in, right? You could do, you know, and every year, are you ready to book your kids' portraits this year? Your family portraits? What it was, is that, do you do portraiture? Am I guessing right? Okay. So that could be your, you know, you could come up with some cute name for your system. Watch me grow system, something. Steps. So, you know, the 12-step program, but that can work for anything. 6 steps, 3 steps. You know, you see this in advertising or in magazines all the time, right? 3 steps to a thinner you, 4 steps to a bikini body, right? You break it down into steps, it feels very digestible. If you can tell me how I'm going to accomplish thing in a few steps, I want to do that with you. 3 steps for peace of mind, whatever it is. Then analogous situations. The one that I use most often is John Gray's books, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So he was not the first person to say men and women are different. This was a book that was in the 90s and it became so popular, and he has a dynasty of books, these Mars Venus books, because people could understand, oh, it's like you're from a different planet. That's why you do this, and that's why I do this. And so it made it very impersonal, right? Because he took us out of being earthlings in the same house, of fighting with your spouse or trying to figure them out, to saying, just accept it. This is the norm, you're different. Okay, so that was a psychology book that really took off to explain couples, right? So if you can take it into a simpler analogy, you know, here, marketing in 3 laws, right? Body in motion stays in motion, body at rest stays at rest. Force equals mass times acceleration, which we'll describe that in marketing terms later. And then for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So taking marketing into something very simple just makes it more accessible, right? That's my aim anyway, right? Simplifying the communication, just using an analogy. Okay, straight talk. This is great for nonprofits, especially, you know, just using the facts and the figures and the stats. Mothers Against Drunk Driving uses just this. They don't use any sweet, fuzzy stuff. It's this many people die from drunk driving, this many drunk drivers survive and their victims don't. It's stuff like that. It's startling. It makes you right away think about what you're doing before you get behind the wheel, think about donating to their organization, think about furthering their cause. And that's what you want to do if you choose to do straight talk. So what you don't want to miss, and it could be something like, you know, too many people leave all their photos. Don't let your babies become JPEGs. That was an ad for Kodak when Kodak still existed. Kodak was still developing film. You can sort of use this as a startling statistic that gets people to go, oh, yeah, I want that. I do need acupuncture. I do need that. I do need something other than a medical model. You know, give me what the stats are about that. Tell me how many people are hungry and they need canned food. Tell me how my house needs to be renovated from its foundation. It's going to fall down. Stephanie, tell me how much more cosmetics I should be wearing. All of those things. Straight talk. Prestige. So I told you about the home inspector who wanted to be the, you know, the most expensive person. That's valid, right? You didn't want to work that hard. If you want to make something very prestigious, you can surely have a prestigious brand. You just need to take it all the way through everything, right? So when people show up, they're going to have an expectation of sheer luxury when they get to your place, if you're charging a lot of money. There was a restaurant that opened up here one time. It didn't make it, but its prices were really high. And one of our friends, it wasn't a neighborhood bistro kind of place. It was, wanted to be a little prestigious. And one of our friends said, for prices like that, I expect a chef, right? They didn't have a chef. They had a line cook, right? They weren't consistent. Their brand didn't go through their prices. You can't just slap high prices on things and expect that that's going to be it. The product didn't match. You can't just put a high price on a poor product, right? It has to go all the way through. Okay. So, and think about that, the place is a big thing for prestige. Unless you're trying to say, yeah, we're in this little hole in the wall and it's sort of secret, and you're hidden in, next to a little market and a, convenience store or something. But then then you walk in and you're transformed. And then you feel like, oh my gosh, we found the speakeasy. We found something really cool. You have to deliver on it at some point. Okay. Okay. And then polarization is the last one. A number of years ago, there was a ad from Miracle Whip, which is a salad dressing, much like mayonnaise, but it tastes its own taste. It is not like mayonnaise, really. It has this different tang, and people who like it love it, and people who do not like it hate it. And so they just took ownership of that and said, we're not for everyone. They just flat out said it. And they use these controversial people in their ads to say that. So they use these polarizing people with a polarizing brand strategy to go, yeah, we're not for everyone. Well, it had a 631% surge in social media posting and a 14% increase in sales. Right? Just from saying, yeah, we're not for everyone. And it was the commercials were gross. They interviewed people and they said, what do you think of Miracle Whip? And there was this one girl, I'll never forget, she goes, it tastes like warm hand cream. Gross. Like that's what you're using to sell your product. They had a 14% increase. So go figure. Okay. So there are other brand strategies to use. You can pair these. This morning I taught a class for nonprofits, and the person was going to, one of the people was going to pair straight talk with polarization. So he was going to give facts and figures about what they aren't, which makes sense. They were a sort of an alternative style high school with a trade element in it. Okay. Okay. So that may help you package either your whole business or just one product. Now's the time, do something before the end of the year and create some urgency. If you can package up a little system, a Christmas system or holiday system, whatever. Hanukkah comes early this year. So if you want to do something for Hanukkah, get on it. It's the 29th of November. It's right after Thanksgiving. But if you package something and then say, sign up by November 15th and you get 10 or 20% off, something like that, get some extra cash before the end of the year, right? That's always a good thing to do. Just make sure you have the bandwidth to do it if it's super successful. Okay. Okay. Do you guys have any questions or comments? Do all of you know how different you are or what's different? Stephanie serves beer and wine at the Envy Beauty Salon. But I have to drive there. And I read the website for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So I'm not going to imbibe until I get home. Can I take it to go? Anyone else want to share? Okay. Okay, so who is your target market? Okay, so the two main ways that people become customers are through, do you know what this is? It's repeat and referral. Okay, so those
Hey,
are,
Leslie?
yes.
Sorry, we have a question from Stephanie.
Okay, can I use the
yeah.
same? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, could I use the same strategy for hiring?
Beer and wine? I think so. Is that the strategy, Stephanie, or do you have another? Were you talking about the gimmicks and the, or do you mean the beer and wine? Don't know. Oh, there you are.
It's mostly, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I am looking for another stylist because I lost a couple of stylists during the COVID. So what, I guess that's what I'm asking. Do you think I could
I
use
see.
the same marketing strategy as far as what makes me set apart and unique? And sorry, we don't do to-go drinks. But you know, it's
worth
like,
asking.
could I, yeah. But could we, do you think I could use that same kind of strategy when trying to look for a stylist?
I think you could. I think you can like almost like a signing bonus. Like we're looking for some, somebody with a, I don't know, you could play it on sports. You could play it on, well, I guess you'd want to do something beauty. So we're looking for our next, I don't know.
Up and coming stylist? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. And then you do a signing bonus or something, some sort of
Okay.
incentive for them to, like something for them to, when they start, and then maybe if they stay 3 months, you do something else.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of companies too, there are people that stay the most were referrals from other people who work there.
Okay.
So you might want to give an incentive to the people who already work there and say, if you bring somebody in, I'll give you, $50 cash or something, or $100 cash, or your name goes in a drawing for, dinner out, something like
Right.
that.
I'm kind of a party of one right now.
Okay. Well, then you need to treat
Oh.
yourself.
Right. I need to give myself a bonus, right?
Right. But
Okay.
ask your network. Right.
Okay.
So put something on Facebook and say, if you refer me a great stylist, I'll give you, $50 or night out or whatever.
Okay.
But they have to
Okay.
stay for 3 months or something,
Okay.
because you don't want flaky people to just show up and try to collect the price.
No.
So they have to, do something with it.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
You're so welcome. Okay. So the two main ways, so repeat and referral. Okay. So first you have to bring them in before they can repeat. Right. But let me put these, I have some stats here for you. So you get them in because you're doing your advertising, you're doing your PR. And so people come in and then you invite them back. Like, please come back and see us, bring a friend. You create some sort of incentive for them to bring people. You also ask them to post on social media that you were there. You can do the same kind of thing where you put their name in a drawing. So if you've referred us, or if you tagged us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, then we'll put your name in a drawing for $50 off your next visit, or 20% off your next visit, something like that. According to HubSpot, and I'll put this in the chat, 90% of people believe brand recommendations from friends. So when their friend says, you got to check this out, it was so great. Oh my God, I have a great acupuncturist. Oh my God, I love this salon. Oh my God, this architect does such amazing work. 90%, that shortens your path again. So it's just like getting that press release out into a newspaper. It gives you that vetting and that endorsement that you want. 70% believe consumer opinions. Okay, so even if it's not their friends, some sort of consumer saying, this was the best restaurant, this was the best whatever. They believe that 70% of the time. I don't know, love-hate relationship with Yelp. Terry, what's your experience with Yelp? I hate hate things that can just ruin a business, and I feel like it does a lot of that. My husband always goes, well, I read all the reviews. And then if there's a really horrible review on a restaurant, I look at that person's reviews for other places. And if they're just not happy anywhere, then I don't care what they think. But I
Yeah.
don't know how many people take the time to do that.
Probably not many, but a couple of years ago, a movie came out called The Billion Dollar Bully.
Okay.
Yelp, and how they, pretty much extorted their businesses to advertise with them, and otherwise they were, deleting
Wow.
the good reviews and putting the bad reviews on the top and stuff. I'm not a big fan, but it's kind of a necessary evil, I think, at this point. So until something else comes along.
Right. Yeah. That's too bad. Okay. Thank you for that. So, but 70% of people will believe a review, right? And then products that have received 50 or more reviews experience 65% higher returns than those who have less than 5 reviews. Okay, I'll say that again, and I'm going to put these in the chat for you. Products that have received 50 or more reviews experience 65% higher returns than those who have less than 5 reviews. So you don't have to go to Yelp to get reviews. One of the sort of nice little secrets that people are catching on, and it's super, super, super effective, is Google My Business. Have you guys all set up your Google My Business? And they have to verify you're a real business. And I think they actually mail you something, and then they give you a code, and then you verify yourself. And you get that beautiful little square. So when you Google yourself and you get that little square to the right of the Google screen that has your business, your picture. Okay, so there's opportunity. First of all, fill out every part of that. Okay, so there's a description part. There's, hours, there's all sorts of information that fill that out as completely as you can. Google likes seeing more complete things, and then update it. You can update it with photos, and just do a photo or 2 a week. Just say Sunday afternoon, this is what I'm going to do. And it doesn't really matter what the photo is. They rotate off. So they stay up there for a little bit and then they rotate off. Just make sure that the name of the photo is one of your keywords. Okay. So if it's photography or Long Beach or your name, a couple of things, combination of those things, and just post that little photo. There's a place where if you keep a blog, you can, do a little description and then say, I think it's read more information, or buy here. There's a button, and you can decide what the button says, and then it can link to your site. Okay. So that's so valuable, because Google is the biggest narcissist that we're dealing with. And so they love seeing their information, being populated, so they can bring the nice, pretty squares, because they want to be they want to stay your search engine, right? And everybody else's search engine. And most people don't know how this stuff works. So they're not like, oh, they just populated that themselves. They don't get that. They're like, oh, look at all the pretty pictures this one has. The other one didn't have any pictures. So you want to do that. Okay, good. Austin put in the chat, we have several Google workshops with Google partners to provide overviews on this subject. You can sign up to learn when they happen again using the link below. So click on that link below. So I'm vouching for them. It's very valuable. And that's where there's a place to give reviews. And you want at least more than 10, according to this HubSpot. You want more than 50. You have to be asking everyone, please write a review for me. Please write a review for me. And it's hard to find your clients that are digital natives that are very used to doing this sometimes. But you can even show them how to do it. Make a little video that you just show what it looks like on the screen. You just film yourself on Zoom doing it and then send it to them. Thank you so much for visiting. I'd love for you to leave a review. I loved working with you. I want to see you again in January or February for your whatever. Here's how you leave a review. And then they just click on your little video. Okay. The less they have to figure out, the better. Okay. So your target markets, so you have users and you have referrals. That's what you guys have. When I'm dealing with the nonprofits, they have users, they have referrals, they have their board of directors that they're constantly rehashing. They have like 7 levels of target markets. Okay, you are simple. So what you need to look at is your demographics and psychographics for your target market. So ask, okay, you can eyeball things, but you might be wrong. Okay, but you kind of know where people are coming from. If you're keeping data on them, you can look by zip code. How far are people coming from? Consider their age, the gender, your geographic reach, ethnicity, income, family, single, education level, whether they're professional or blue collar. Your website on your social media, social media and website analytics will help you find some of that stuff. So you'll know exactly. So pay attention to that. And who you thought you were going to work with may not be who's coming to your door. And maybe that's okay. You have to ask yourself, do I like working with these people? Yes. Do I want to work with some other people? Maybe, maybe not. Try it out. It was a question on Alignable. This guy had a gym and he said, I started a gym and I wanted to work with corporate women. And what I ended up having is all these women who drop off their kids and show up after that. So he was getting all of his classes that were booked were at 9 a.m. and later. And he really wanted to have like that 7 to 9 hours filled. That wasn't who was coming. Well, it turned out that because his place was right near a preschool. So that's who you're going to get, right? So if you don't want that, then you need to be in the lobby of a big office, a corporate building or something, or just capture this group. If you don't want to work those hours, recruit some of these moms and say, hey, I'll pay you to run Zumba. I'll pay you to help doing whatever, right? Why not capture that market if that's where you are? So sometimes things change. So always go back to your 4 Ps and see what's off. Okay. So you have your demographics and then your psychographics. And so the psychographics are those things you can't see. You don't know their attitudes, how they feel about certain things, maybe politics, maybe slants things here and there, their feelings, their wants, their desires. One of the things that the market researchers cannot figure out, because it does not cross any demographic line whatsoever, there's no clear pattern, is who buys insurance for rental cars. It's not mainly male, it's not mainly female, it's not mainly old, it's not mainly young. It is totally random. They cannot figure it out. They don't, I'm like, I don't know, because they have American Express or because they have pizza or because they have freckles. It's so random, they can't tell. It's a psychographic issue. I had this friend, our kids are the same ages and we were going to elementary school and taking them to elementary school. In that time, it was a big push to get rid of the Ziploc little baggies. And so a lot of moms were buying the little, Velcro washable handmade bags from Etsy. And they're all the same thing, right? They're various shapes and sizes. They have some sort of a closure. And so some people would choose like by the pattern for whether they have a boy or girl or whatever, or color or whatever. So my friend, who's also named Leslie, she goes, oh my goodness, I looked at like 20 different Etsy sites and I finally decided on one. And I said, oh, is it the cheapest? She said, no. I go, what was it? You'll like this, Cielo. She said, I chose the one with the best photographs. I go, really? And she goes, yes, because I have an Etsy shop and I know how hard it is to get good photos. And they put forth that effort. Okay, I have an Etsy shop. I'm like, I'm not spending this much time with the light box and this and that for my $15 earrings. It's too much time, right? That's what she valued. That is a psychographic issue. And you don't know that until you ask, right? Had I not asked, I would have said, oh, they must have been the cheapest. That would be my assumption, because that's what I would have done. Actually, I probably would have made them myself. I bought the Tupperware boxes. Okay, so those psychographics are important. So every once in a while, survey your customers. And it doesn't have to be a paper survey or an electronic survey. Sometimes it's just you're talking to them while they're in your shop, or while they called you one day, or you just have coffee with them. Hey, I'm trying out something new and I'm curious because you've always bought this, or you have used me several times. Tell me what it is. And maybe in those Google reviews, they may reveal some things that you didn't know about them. Okay. Okay. And then, and I kind of touched on this already, how well are you hitting your target? Are the people you're currently drawing and working with, are they the people you intended to reach? Like this guy who opened the gym. If not, how are they different? So think about that. So years ago, I was working with this social media company, and they thought they would be teaching people how to use social media. But nobody cared. They're like, just do it for me. But as soon as they say, do it for me, they don't want to pay very much money. So they had to go back to the product, because it's hard. I mean, the best price I've seen for somebody who's responsible and reliable to post, post on social media for maybe 3 different platforms to 3 different platforms a couple times a week was $500. That's an excellent price for that, because they still have to set up the artwork. They still have to set up the memes. They still have to make sure you have the right hashtags. There's a lot of little picayune work to do with that. And if somebody doesn't want to pay at least that much, then they have to learn how to do it themselves, right? Which they don't always want to do. So what they had to do was create a system. So instead of just selling the social media implementation, they said, we have to supply them with a new website. So we'll have a new website. Then they brought me in and I wrote a marketing plan and a tactical marketing calendar for them. So now they're selling a system. It's a marketing system. You're getting a new website. And a lot of the people are cramming it to them. That's how they came across this, was their websites were awful. They said, we are not going to drive more traffic to that bad website. It's just not going to help you. Like nothing ruins a bad product like a good ad. Right? So let's not show our uglies. They said, so we will create a new website for you. We will implement your social media. We'll give you a marketing plan, a 1-year plan, and a 1-year tactical marketing calendar. And you can pay over 12 months. Because that was the other thing. If you're doing all of that, which it's all front loaded, right? So you're doing everything within the first 6 weeks, and then they're just implementing the social media after that. And so most people will drop off. Right. So if they said, okay, you have to come up with 10 grand or something in the first 2 months, they're like, I don't have 10 grand. I don't have 10 grand. And then they're okay, well, I mustered all this. I'm not going to keep paying you. But if we can stretch it out, make it $800 a month, oh, I can do that. Right. And they could do that because they did all the work in-house. I mean, they paid me out, but I was a nominal part of that. And I really don't even know how much they charge for the whole package. I just know how much I got paid. Okay. So we are at 7:20. Okay. So do you guys have some questions? No. Okay, was there anything in here that you really struggled to fill in? And you can put it in your chat if you want, if you don't want to, not in a position to speak. Do you have any challenges, or what was super easy? Are you okay? So Kathleen says, I find it difficult to narrow down my target market because I carry so many different categories, and downtown Long Beach is such a wide range of demographics. Any suggestions? Yes, sometimes you may not need to narrow it down, right? So if you're lucky enough to be a Coca-Cola that has something for everyone, then you need to find another through line. There's something else. And is all of your stuff, is it all handmade? Is it make?
It's a mix.
Okay.
There's new, there's vintage, there's local made. Yeah. So
So-
it's I find it challenging.
Are they mostly, even though they're from all those different kinds of sources, are they mostly like one of a kind in a way?
Very curated because I'm very specific.
Okay.
But we're eclectic. So
Okay. Eclectic is appealing. That if you want to brand it around being eclectic, I think you can do that.
I never thought about that.
Right. That celebrate the difference, right? We're not just one thing. We're not cookie cutters. We're not, it's not all crayons and you're just picking which color. We have something for everyone. So I'm a generalist. And so like Terry is, works with restaurants, and I've worked with restaurants, but I've also worked with aerospace companies. I've also worked with a lot of nonprofits. And so for a long time, I'm redoing my website now. For a long time, I didn't put any lists on there of my clients because it was too confusing. But I finally said, okay, I have to lean into this because my strength is getting up to speed on stuff really quickly because I need to figure out what it is I'm representing with each of these different clients. The principles are always the same. I was just telling the people this morning when I was talking to 10 different nonprofits, I have tech clients, they create little teeny tiny chips that go in your microphone or whatever. They behave like nonprofits. Everybody wants their stuff to be the most important thing to the reporter or anybody else. Okay. So the principles are all the same, right? So I changed sort of how I describe myself. And I'm also a facilitator, which people are like, what's that? So I run meetings for collaborative groups and am the neutral third party. And so I make sure that everybody gets to speak and then sort of summarize what they're doing and help them through problems or, help them get through success. Okay. So those things. So right now you're like, what the heck, Leslie, right? You have tech chips, you have nonprofits, you facilitate. So I put it all together. I package it as I simplify communication. And I do, that's my through line. Right. So I wrote a 50-page marketing book for small businesses and local nonprofits. 50 pages. You can't get much simpler than that with cartoons. Right. I also teach that. So I teach small businesses and nonprofits how to simplify their marketing endeavors and their promotions. When I'm a facilitator, that's essentially what I'm doing is I'm simplifying their conversation, bringing it down, replaying things back to them. So that's the common denominator. Okay. And so I'm redoing the website and I'm leaning into that. I'm like, here's my list. And it's all over the place. But because I'm all over the place, I can connect dots easier between things. I know I'm superficially knowledgeable about many things, and I can apply the same things every single time. Right? We're still writing a press release. We're still doing some sort of an event. Nonprofits, I've done a lot of fundraising events and those kinds of things. And then I did a groundbreaking for a solar company in the middle of nowhere. But I knew, okay, we need porta potties, we need shovels, we need whatever. And I knew who to call for all of those things because I'd done gala work, in conventions. So it's the same stuff, just, a different overlay each time. So what you need to figure out some sort of keywords that resonate with people. So eclectic, and just Google eclectic gifts. And when you Google it, there'll be like a drop-down menu and it'll give you a bunch of different choices. Those other choices are things that other people have searched for. So that's a clue for you. So if they're looking for, Google eclectic gifts. And before you click on it, see if there's other things that come down. So they may say unique gifts or treasures or hard to find or something. And that will give you some clues just to do some more research to try to capture what that is. There used to be a store off 2nd Street. It's called Lanyap. And Lanyap is I think it's a Basque word that comes from like Louisiana and stuff that means little thing, a little something. And it was a gift shop and they had all sorts of little things. So maybe even looking at, eclectic or unique or something in a different language is sometimes fun. And then they go, well, what does that mean? It's curious. Right? Just a thought. So this stuff's
Okay.
going to marinate tonight. So I would encourage you to check in on Thursday and come with your questions. Were there other questions? I appreciate that, Kathleen, for asking. Her store is awesome.
Thank
Stephanie.
you.
So sweet. Are you guys near each other? Where are you? Are you on Pine?
I'm on First Street, First and
Okay.
Linden.
Okay.
I'm in the heart of it all.
Yay.
No, I am. I'm around the corner on 3rd and Elm. I'm in the heart.
You're funny.
We're both in the heart. We're both in the heart.
You're reminding me when I did the groundbreaking for the solar company, it was in the middle of nowhere. It's a solar farm, the big solar panels you drive by when you go to Vegas or whatever. It's in Cantil. Yeah. So it's in Cantil, California. Okay, where's Cantil, California? I even called the county. I said, hey, do we need any, emergency services there? Because it's going to be hot. Do I need, and they go, that's not in our county. I'm like, yes, it is. But the closest town is California City, which I didn't know existed either. It's like outside of Ridgecrest, sort of between Ridgecrest and Tehachapi. It's really great, sexy area. And the mayor of Cantil, California spoke at the event. And she said, most people think that we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're in the middle of everywhere. And she gave the distances to Disneyland, to San Francisco, to LA Coliseum. I'm like, oh, that was pretty smart of you. So just look at your things from a different lens. And you might want to talk to other people, talk to people who come into your shop, talk to your friends, talk to your family. Like, what strikes you about my shop? What do you like most about my shop? How, if you had to describe it in 3 words, what would those words be? It may just be eclectic.
Yeah. Unique is the word that always is the common word over the years, is unique.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people come in and say, we don't have a store like, I just had this on Friday. Some women from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. They're like, how did you do this? We don't have anything like this. I have to go to 10 different stores to find this and this and this and this and that and this. But here you have all of it. I was like, I know.
Girl, I still so many ideas from you. You think I'm coming into shop and I'm coming in to steal ideas from you.
Oh my God, Stephanie.
I love it.
Transparency abounds.
I love it.
Yeah, you're the best.
Oh,
You're the best.
thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you steal product ideas or does she have really cute displays or both?
She has great displays. I don't ever try to take the same products that she carries, because then if she has something that I don't, then I refer them to her.
Okay.
So but the way she displays things, the way that her store is so inviting, and it just makes you want to linger. She has great music playing.
Oh, nice.
She just needs to serve wine.
You know,
Never leave.
that's a pretty good.
Telling you.
So Austin has some suggestions, some
I
words
like those.
pulled from your reviews: boutique, diverse, wide selection, welcoming, artsy, vintage. Yeah. Just play with them. Keep playing with those words. Something's gonna click. You're gonna go, that's it. And maybe you're combining a couple words.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for staying to the end. I'm gonna do my drawing. One of you gets 30 minutes with me to pick my brain. Okay. Did Dr. Rhiannon stay? She's not here anymore, is she?
She left.
Oh.
Also, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Stephanie joined afterwards, so she may not be on your original list. You may want to
I
throw her
added
into
her on my
Okay, good.
extra one for from Vanessa. But I pulled out Connor McCullough. Yay.
Yay.
Connor, is Willetta your mother? Yay. Maybe. Yes, she is. Okay, very good. I've met her at women's council meetings and she's in Rotary with my husband. Very good. So I'd love to talk to you. Okay, so Connor, email me my I'll put it in the chat, but it's on the handouts too. And then we'll set up a time and come prepared with some sort of question or problem or something. And we'll solve it in 30 minutes. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. If you know some other people who signed up and didn't show up, call them and tell them they missed out. They need to show up next week. Okay, and then we have Thursday night office hours. It's totally optional, but I'd love to see you. And let me know. You can email me between now and then if there's something that you that occurs to you that you want to know more about.
What time are the hours on Thursday?
Just 6 to 7 o'clock.
And just a reminder for everybody, you'll use the same Zoom link you used tonight to access the office hours. So for all the classes going forward and the office hours, it's the same Zoom link. So don't worry about needing something new. But I will also make sure that you're added to the calendar invite just in case you want to access it through that way as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Austin, for setting this all up, and go get your books from Austin.
Yeah, so sorry on the book piece. So I'll send an email right after this class to everybody, just making sure I can check your preference for how you want the book. For the folks that are in downtown, I'm happy to drop it off. You guys aren't too far away from me. Or you can come by the office between tomorrow and Friday to pick it up, or tomorrow and next Monday before the next class. And then for anyone that's outside of downtown, happy to mail it out. Just let me know where to mail it to.
Great. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.